Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Rini, this is the Enchanted Planner, and today I've got 5 tips for choosing a planner layout if you are new to Happy Planner. So I'm going to flip you around so we can chit chat about these tips. You need to think of your Happy Planner as a tool that works for you, not something you try to make work. After all, the whole point with any planning system is to make your life easier and help you accomplish stuff. Yet, you do need to account for your own needs and preferences when deciding on a planner. Just because it's pretty doesn't make it the right planner for you. So I've got a few things for you today for you to consider to help you decide which Happy Planner might be the best fit. So my first tip, if you will, or my first consideration, is to stay with one of their tried and true planners. Happy Planner has lots of options when it comes to layouts, but I will warn you, these tend to change year to year. Their bread and butter planners are these ones. This is the vertical, the horizontal, the dashboard, and then the teacher planner. So let's have a look at these. So the vertical planner is as such. It's literally a vertical with 3 boxes. You can use this in a variety of different ways, but this is something that comes out with every single release, okay? The next one I'll show you is a horizontal layout. This is another one that generally comes out every single release. Another one, and this just got a makeover this year. It used to look like this on the dashboard side with these 4 boxes and then this focus on area. But it got a makeover in this release and it now looks like this on the dashboard, which I am very excited about because I like a long list and I don't use this planner for day to day. This is my social media, my business planner. So this is a far better layout for me, but I think it's a far better layout universally and a little bit more versatile than the other style was. Now, the last planner, these ones all come out 2 times a year, 2 to 3 times a year. They're usually released in the fall, which is for the next year over, like so over the January start. Then they release some in I think it's June, somewhere in there. It's when the teacher planners come out as well. Generally, you might see some of these. They come out a couple of times a year. Let's just leave it at that. But the one that only releases once a year is the teacher planner, and it looks like this. It's got across and then down. Now I use this, I redate, cover all that up and I redate it across the top because I happen to use this for my health and wellness, but I have also seen this used as a catch-all. I've seen it used as a social media planner. This is another layout that's fairly versatile, but like I said, it only gets released in the spring. So now, what happens is they'll throw in something like a wellness layout or the recovery layout, or what they did last year was they released this wonderful dated meal planner, which is awesome, right? We didn't get this year. So there was a lot of people that actually bought this planner, may not have used it for meal planning, they may have used it for their day-to-day, but this planner didn't get released this fall. So now they have to move to a different layout to work for their 2023 year. So those are just a few things to consider when you're choosing a planner, because you want to be able to use it every year, right? So, and if you're new to this, I recommend sticking with one of these tried and trues. And my best suggestions, if you're using it for day to day, would be this one, the vertical, or the dashboard. If you're wanting it for a journal, the horizontal is fantastic. So that's going to take us into our next point. Tip number 2, or for your consideration, is decide what you'd like to achieve with your new planner. It's important to narrow down that functionality and what you need from your planner. Understanding what you need to do in advance will save you heartache, frustration, and money. After all, it's far too easy to get enamored by all the things and wrapped up in all the pretty covers, but it needs to be functional, right? So here's some things to ask yourself. Do you want to stay laser focused and optimize your productivity? Are you trying to reach life-changing goals? Do you need to keep track of your life in one hub instead of multiple pieces of paper and notebooks, which you tend to lose? What do you need this planner to do? Goal setting, moving towards completing goals, everything but the kitchen sink goes in, just to keep yourself organized? Using those questions, narrow down what you need this planner to do. Our planners are only useful if we use them. And I can't stress that enough. They're only useful if we use them. So as I mentioned in a few of these, like I happen to be a big fan of the dashboard and a big fan of the vertical. I love both these planners. I use this for my day-to-day. I use this for social media and business. I use this for a journal, and I use this one for my health and wellness, which is the teacher planner. Next tip. You kind of need to determine your planning personality. And I know that sounds funny, but follow me here. When you plan things, do you plan it right down to the finest detail? Or are you comfortable planning out the basic overview and then planning the rest on the go? Because determining if you need this planner to be super detailed or bird's eye view will be very helpful when you're selecting a planner. So here's some questions to consider. Do you need to plan your days down to the hour? What are your habits? Are you more of a macro type or a micro type? Because there's planners that are good for each and good for both. And what I mean by macro is overview versus fine details down to the minutia. Because, for example, in the vertical planner, to me, this is great for both. It's got a bit of micro and a bit of macro. But because of my brain and the way it works, I use this as a catch-all. This is my day-to-day. Everything but the kitchen sink goes into this planner. What really appeals to my micro and macro side is the dashboard. Because as I mentioned, on this side, we have sort of a macro overview. And then I can use these spaces in here to plan down to the smaller fine details. Another thing to consider is, are you more of a list maker? Because there's planners that are better for this, especially now with this long task list. But you can also aptly create lists in the vertical, because you can just go down this whole one column. You can use the sidebar, you can break it up. I've seen people use this planner, like if they have kids, they'll have this is kid one, this is kid two, and this is hubby. Or they'll use this as like breakfast, lunch, and dinner if they're using it for health and wellness planning. They're fairly versatile, but you do kind of need to know what you plan like before you going in, and not everyone's going to know ahead of time. And this is where I'm trying to save you guys money because I jumped planners a few times in the beginning and it was expensive. I'm not going to lie, right? I mean, another thing to consider is, are you more of a write out the whole thing, which in that case, the horizontal affords you lots of writing room versus something like the vertical where it's smaller for bullet point form, or something like the dashboard where you can do a bit of both. Excuse me, because each planner has kind of its pros and cons. As I mentioned, I love the dashboard. It's great for goal setting, day-to-day and life tasks, but the vertical works very well too. Like I mentioned, I like the dashboard because it's macro on one side and micro on the other, at least when my brain is looking at it. The next tip or consideration is you need to determine the sole purpose of this new planner. Some layouts may be better suited to your intention than others. So knowing in advance what the sole purpose of this planner will be will help greatly. For example, if you're buying this with the sole purpose of health planning, you may want to see if you can track down a teacher planner, because I do this. I do breakfast, lunch, dinner. This is my movement column. And then I track all kinds of stats down here, like my water intake and my sleep score and my hours of sleep, and then some gratitude. I'll mix and match this, but that's the way I lay this planner out. Happy Planner also makes a health layout, which I do not have anymore because I don't use it, but it's similar in looking to the vertical, but the boxes are laid out a bit differently. But it's also a wonderful layout if you're looking for health and wellness planning. If you're looking for business and social media, the teacher planner or the dashboard works really well. Is it for goal setting, life management, and schedules? Is it for yourself, or will you be tracking things for other members of your family? Narrow down the answers to those questions and use that information to determine which planner might be the best fit. Tip number 5 is decide why you're drawn to this hobby. Are you a crafty person? Do you like to create and play? Because the whole reason I get into my planners every day is the decor. I'm not going to lie, it's the decor. I've had planners every year for many years and never used the damn things. And I use these planners every day, and I complete 4 planners every year. So it's all about the decoration for me and the creativity that keeps me coming back. But that will help you determine if you want to get color on your pages or not. I don't have an example, but Happy Planner in this past release for the 2023 year has several planners that have color on them. The cyanotype planner is absolutely beautiful, but it's blue all throughout, like in little splotches here and there. I personally suggest that if you are drawn to this hobby because of the stickers, you pick up a planner that is neutral. because you're not going to have to fight with any color on the page, and you'll be able to use whatever you want for decoration. However, if you just want to sit down and get your week planned out quickly and you're more of a no fuss, no muss person, a planner with color is likely your best option because then it needs minimal decor. And you can go in and use some of the functional stickers like garbage day or laundry or, you know, appointments, and you'll be able to utilize your planner that way. But I'm telling you, chances are, because I've done polls with this in my community, if you're drawn to decorative planning, you've either been or still are a paper crafter of some sort. And I'm telling you, you'll likely have supplies in your stash that you can incorporate into that planner. You've got stamps and punches and paper and the like. So you probably already have a lot of materials in your house from other hobbies that you can use in this planner. And here's a bonus tip for you. Pick a size that's comfortable for you. And I'm going to show you what I mean. Happy Planner has, I'm just going to move them into the screen here, different sizes. Okay. Starting off, we have the mini and we have the skinny mini. So the skinny mini has that type of layout. This is perfect and grab and go for a purse. Perfect, okay? Mini is also wonderful in that aspect. This happens to be a dashboard. They also make these in a vertical, but it's also really good for the purse or on the go because it's little, okay? So this is the skinny classic and the classic. Then we have the classic and we have the skinny classic. Sorry, I probably said this was the skinny classic. This is a skinny mini. Mini, skinny mini. This is a classic and a skinny classic. So this planner is quite a bit larger than the other ones. It is 9.25 high by 7 across. And then you have this guy, which is kind of he's half brother, if you will. I'm just trying to find pages I haven't decorated. This is an old planner. So see what I'm saying? Oh, and here's an example of color on the pages, right? Depending upon the size of your bag or your purse, this might work. However, it's too big for most purses, but this is another option that works fairly well to go into a purse if you need something that has more writing room, because it's literally a bigger version of the skinny mini. Then we finish off with Happy Planner's Big, which is this guy. And let me see if I can get to something that's a planner page. Oh, there we go. The Big is huge. The Big is 8.5 by 11. I should probably make sure I'm all in frame. Oops, not quite. Not quite. This planner is big. Can I get them all in frame? There we go. So this is 8.5 by 11. So this is great if you want to just punch random things and put them into your planner. But this is a little big to be taking on the go, at least as far as I'm concerned. But here's the thing. This is where the water gets murky again, because Happy Planner doesn't always release these two sizes. They come out sporadically. So it's like picking one of the unusual layouts. They don't always make them. And these are hit and miss too. You don't always see a skinny classic and you don't always get a classic size planner, but they do without fail always make these three. They are the definite bread and butter. And as I said, this comes in a dashboard as well as a vertical, and it comes out every once in a while in a horizontal layout as well. So just, you know, just some things to consider when you're trying to choose a planner, because it can be fairly overwhelming at the beginning when you find all this stuff and you find that there's a community and there's stickers and there's washi and there's all these fun things. But I'm just trying to help you narrow it down because I don't want to see people make the same mistake I did. I continually threw spaghetti at the wall to see what worked, and it was expensive that first, 6 months of using Happy Planner until I found something that worked. But that's a wrap, you guys. Let me know in the comments what you think of the video. And to my wonderful Enchanted Planner community, please feel free to chime in with any suggestions you have for a new planner coming into our community to help them avoid some mistakes that you made. So that's my take on that. I'd love you guys to add your input as well. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. If this is your first video here, drop us a comment down below letting us know you're new so we can formally welcome you to our community. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.